Tonight, tonight we're talking about 6 hacks, 6 easy things that you can do that will make you a master meal planner, and you'll have better chance of maintaining your weight and living a healthier lifestyle. If you're interested, give me a little thumbs up. Tell me that you're in. Hey everybody, it's CJ Johnson. My passion is helping people who are over the age of 40 look and feel their best. Our body's changing. There is no doubt about that. But there are things that we can do to, I wouldn't say minimize those changes, but to roll with the changes. You know that old REO Speedwagon song, right? Roll with the changes. So if we're rolling with the changes, we're going to have a healthier life, we're going to live longer, and we're going to enjoy that life. Because it's one thing to live longer, but who wants to live it in a nursing home? I'd much rather live it being active and happy and healthy, wouldn't you? And I know we're busy. It's hard. It's tough. We're busy today, and it's hard to do all these things. So that's why little shortcuts, wherever we can get them or find them, to eat more whole food versus less processed food, because that's one of the big keys that will help you to lose or maintain weight. Eating more whole food versus less processed. Anything that we can do to shorten our time that it takes to do those things is going to give us greater success, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So give me a second here while I go ahead and I just want to finish up checking my tech and making sure everything is going. I can see I got audio. Let me just make sure I'm coming through on Facebook. Sometimes that's a tough one. Looks like I maybe am. Yeah, okay. But give me a little how much meal planning, how many times a week? Hey John, how are you? Welcome. How many times a week do you cook at home? Put that down that's kind of our question of the day. Put that down in the show notes below. How many times a week do you cook at home? For me, the answer is on average, I cook 3 times a week, and I am going to give you some things to help you to cook a little bit more at home, so that you can, again, live that healthier life. Now, my life wasn't always so healthy. This is what I used to look like. That is me at age 38. I weighed over 250 pounds. And yeah, that was a size 20 suit. I have lost and maintained a 100-pound weight loss before I just turned 55 a few weeks ago. So for 14 plus years, it took me a while to lose the weight. So 14 plus years. And along the way, I've learned a lot of these things because I was never the person who cooked. Never cooked at all. Came out of a bag. I opened it, I heated it up. That was all that I did. So last week I did a show, and if you didn't see it, where it really all starts is the grocery store. So that's kind of the first step in healthy eating and getting more food into your diet, or clean eating. It starts at the grocery store, but once you get to the grocery store, now you got to prep for the week, and it certainly is not easy to do with a busy lifestyle. So let's get into these 6 hacks that will help you to do meal prep quicker and more efficiently. Alrighty, so clean eating, and that's what this whole thing is centered around, is putting more whole food into your diet, less processed food. So consuming foods more towards their natural form. That's what's going to help us to maintain or lose weight without doing a lot of jumping through hoops in terms of counting calories and portions and things like that. Processed foods, I think we can all know, they are not good for us. They're high in fat and calories and in preservatives and all this icky stuff. They're not good for us. So the more we can get whole food into our diet, the less problems we're going to have with our diet. So here's how we do that through meal prep. So the very first thing is, and you're probably sick of hearing this from me, but you need to plan. It doesn't matter if it's eating or exercise or fitness. 10 to 15 minutes at the start of the week will set you up for a good week. Every Sunday night, I sit down with my calendar and this is all it takes me is 15 minutes. I sit down with my calendar. I plug in all of my appointments. When am I at work? When do I have to do errands? When am I out playing and having fun? When am I exercising? I put everything inside of my calendar so I can see it all in front of me. Looking at that, I know right off the bat how many meals a week I'm going to have at home and how many meals a week I'm going to have out. That allows me to make some adjustments. If I'm going to have 3 meals a week at home, I plan for those 3 meals. If I'm going to be eating out, I let my fingers do the walking on the internet and I plan for those meals as well. But I make sure that I don't leave it to chance, because if I leave my eating to chance, I can guarantee you I'm going to eat more processed food. And most people will eat more processed food or more fast food. So 10 to 15 minutes at the very start of the week will go a long way to helping you to eat clean. So that's number one. Number two, when you're first starting out and you're first starting to do some cooking, it's really important that you stick to the recipes you know. So if you've got some good, healthy recipes, stick close to those. Anytime I try a new recipe, even today, it takes me time to get the rhythm of that recipe. When can I be cutting? When do I have to be cooking? When am I watching something? How fast does the cook? If I've never cooked that recipe before, I don't know. So by not knowing, it takes me longer to cook and longer to prep it and the whole bit. So stick to the recipes you know. If you don't know any healthy recipes, look online and get some basic, just Google basic healthy recipes. I have a bunch on my website too. It's agewellwithcj.com. Even though I cook a lot, I'm the queen of quick cooking. Queen of quick cooking. Wow. Queen of quick cooking. You like that? Very fast, right? I'm the queen of quick cooking. I love easy recipes that taste good and that are healthy. So go on over to my website. I have links to some outstanding recipes that are just not complex at all. Believe me, I'm not Julia Child. So stick to the things that you know. That's number two. Okay, let's get into number three. When you're looking at cooking, recipes, and you're looking at, be very cognizant of those cooking methods. Is it fried? I think we can all pretty much know that fried foods are not good for us, right? Okay. If it's fried, stay away from it. Look at options like grilling, baking, boiling, even sauteing. Sauteing is done with oil, so be really careful of sauteing, especially if you see saute on a restaurant menu. That generally means added calories from the oil to that. So as you're looking at those healthy recipes for the week, make sure that you're employing clean cooking methods as well to keep the calories down inside of those recipes. All right, number four, you don't have to cook every night. I told you if I'm going to cook for 3 meals a week, I generally will cook those meals on a Sunday and I'll put them into the refrigerator. And I may cook one meal that's going to last me 2 or 3 times. Example of that is I recently came across a recipe. It's a summer squash soup for my Instapot. I got a brand new Instapot. It's a really fun, great tool for the kitchen. Awesome recipe. Link to it on my website. But I have this awesome recipe and I tried it on John and he loved it. He says, you can make this anytime. So when I went to get the ingredients for this recipe again, I got enough for a double batch. When I make it, half of it will stay out and we'll eat half of it during the week. The other half goes into the freezer and it can be used in the future. I make my own spaghetti sauce. I make a marinara sauce. It's our family recipe. Again, that's on the website too if you want it. It's a killer marinara sauce. When I make that, I make a double batch and I put it in small containers like, about this high in the freezer. I can take that out and it's like having a jar of sauce without having all the processed foods and without having to do the cooking. All I would have to do is heat up something to go with it, like maybe a spaghetti squash or something like that, and I've got a home-cooked meal without all the time spent into it. So you don't have to cook every single night. Don't cook and shop on the same day. As I said last week, I talked a lot about shopping because it really does all start at the grocery store. When I go to the grocery store, generally it takes me an hour to do my shopping for a couple of weeks is normally what I'm shopping for, 2 to 3 weeks. But that hour, by the time I get home, it's an hour at the store. So I have to drive to the store. I spend an hour at the store. I drive home. Now I got to put all the groceries away, regroup and reorganize my cupboards, that type of thing. So a grocery store run could conceivably take me 2+ hours, depending upon how much I have. I don't need to get into cooking after that. I want to do something else. Don't cook and shop on the same day. Just do it on 2 different days. If your day to cook is on Sunday and you're going to spend 2 or 3 hours in the kitchen prepping some meals for the entire week, make sure that you are shopping before the day that you cook. It'll save you a lot of times, lots of headaches. You will enjoy it much, much more. Take some shortcuts. What I mean by that is not the processed food kind of shortcuts. Take the chopped food kind of shortcuts. If you go into your fresh produce section in every grocery store, you will see vegetables already cut and chopped for you. That generally is what takes the most amount of time in recipes, is prepping the food to actually cook the food. If you're short on time, buy those vegetables already chopped so you don't have to do that. In fact, sometimes you can get them in stir-fry packages where you have a mix of vegetables or 2 or 3 different veggies all together in one package. All that you have to do is add them to your recipe. It's a little bit more expensive, yes. But is it more expensive to buy those and use them? Or is it more expensive to forego cooking and end up eating something processed? In the long run, it's more expensive for the second one, because the more processed food you eat, you're more susceptible to higher rates of disease and diabetes, because those foods are just full of junk for us. So make sure that if you need to take a shortcut, get some of those chopped veggies out of the produce section. So that's our 6 things for tonight. Make sure that you plan. Stick to those very basic healthy recipes. Look at how the food is being prepared. Make sure that it's healthy, grilling or something where the fat is not in there. You don't have to cook nightly. Prep for one day and make that last throughout the whole entire week. Shop and cook on different days and use prepped food if you need it. Now that's just the start of eating clean and eating healthy. And if you want some more tips on that, I have 71 clean eating habits that are going to help you to lose weight and to get healthy. And somebody said to me, oh, CJ, 71 habits, that's way too many habits. Well, here's what you do. There's 2 or 3 that are going to speak to you at one time. You take those 2 or 3, you put those into your lifestyle. They'll fit in a relatively short amount of time, and then you add 2 or 3 more. So here you have a list that could conceivably last you for years. But what it'll do is it'll keep you eating more healthy food versus processed food. So if you got any questions here, I'm just taking a look to see if we have any questions. Doesn't look like we have any questions. I'm back here next Tuesday night, every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. We're going to talk a little bit more about clean eating. Now that we have shopped and we have cooked, what do we eat? What are some of the tricks that we can do to keep us healthy and fit and maintaining our weight in a really small amount of time, especially as we get older? That's the problem we'll be solving next week. Until then, together we can train smart, live bold, and age well. Good night, everybody.